Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. We have a great interview between Hannah Brown and a podcast doctor, and they talk about therapy, and Hannah Brown says, I was emotionally unwell that whole time. She talks about the problem with instant Bachelor fame and how she's coped, not just on Bachelor, but on Special Forces, her G.I. Joe style reality show she was on. And we're going to get into it right now. Let's have a listen to several different clips of her chat on the Checkup podcast. Have a listen. It's coming. You can hear the coffee being made in the background.
I think when you have a little bit of like PTSD from different, like the way that I was, just my background, I really handled the situation in a way that was kind of unlike some of the other people on the show. I was really locked in and my body felt like, oh, I've been here before. So for me, I feel like I could have stayed like days longer.
Wow.
But like, I knew that was kind of like, not that it's unhealthy, but I knew that there was something different going on inside my head versus like other people.
She's speaking about Special Forces. She's saying she was doing so well living in this random tent in Jordan, the country, that she could have kept on going. And she's going to talk about how she disassociates and is able to kind of get in the zone. We call that the Hannah Beast mode.
But I was like, why is this not affecting me the same way? Why am I not like super emotional? I'm just like really like
zoned in.
Did
you feel dissociated from the moment?
1000%.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I got back and I was like, I do this, but I know that I also, now that I've gone to therapy, like realize that I kind of do that in certain situations. So it was really eye-opening, and it's something now that I can work on and like understand a little bit.
And people in the comment section have asked, how did she get so much PTSD? She was a well-liked Bachelorette, and that might be the case to you. But to others, she was the center of a lot of scrutiny for being sex positive. Not to mention, she, of course, had problematic things she had to apologize for. She was singing a song on an Instagram story, and she said the N-word in the song, and she had that to deal with. And it said, not to say that there aren't consequences for your actions, but you still have to deal with what comes from a world of people, online, whether it with regards to all the actions you make that disapprove, some rightfully and some not, depending on what the circumstances. And within that world, it's like your brain has to cope with this idea, and they might talk about it here, this idea that like when you were a celebrity in the 70s, you had to write somebody fan mail to not like them, you had to lick a stamp, you had to do all this stuff. Nowadays you get thousands. I mean, gosh, yesterday I can't tell you the amount of people telling me to put sunblock on. You know how annoying it is? And no offense, like, oh Dave, we don't want you to get melanoma. I get it. It's still annoying, death by 1,000 paper cuts, to be told what to do, even when it's well intentioned. When it's not well intentioned, it becomes very toxic.
But it helped me get through the course, I guess.
Well, that's why,
for better or for worse,
it's true coping mechanism. And when you're doing that in your everyday life and you're disconnecting from your emotions, you're not just disconnecting from the negative ones, you're also disconnecting from the good ones. Because if you want to tone down the negativity in your life by toning down your emotions, you're also toning down your positivity at the same time. One lever controls both.
Yes.
But in a situation where you're trying to survive in the water, handcuffed in a car or what have you, maybe it's okay to dissociate in a moment like that.
I do think I didn't have these crazy up and downs. I just kind of was like even kill the whole time. I didn't let like a victory like make me like, oh my God. Yeah. But I also didn't make like a failure or something really crazy happening like affect me either.
Okay, let's get to the next part here. So she's discussing the ways in which she was able to succeed, but also some, it's important too to know to confront issues and don't just disassociate from like the issues that you need to confront and overcome. And of course, that's what therapy has taught her. All right, let's go to our.
You could talk to yourself in that moment. Would you have encouraged yourself to seek therapy before all of this happened, before rock bottom?
1000%.
Why?
Because I think that was a lot that I was going through. Like, I feel like, you see your, I'm not even that, I mean, it's not that long ago, but like your younger self, and you're like, dang, like you kind of grieve for the moments where you don't reach out, or the moments that you don't have somebody to really confide in and understand. And so, or just kind of give you that place, just be like a safe place that really has no skin in the game at all, and just
An
is just
objective
listening.
voice.
Yeah, objective voice. Yeah, I totally wish I would have done that. And definitely needed it. Even before. That's why I made great TV. So yes, that was, but now like found it, and I'm like so grateful for it. I think everybody should do therapy.
Yeah, I think what's powerful about therapy, and kind of a misunderstanding that so many people have, is they think it's just talking about your feelings, but there's the objective voice that carries a huge benefit. It's someone that's not having the same emotions you are, that can allow you to bounce ideas off them. And then number two, the big one, is you learn tools, your favorite word,
Yes.
of how to manage in certain situations, not necessarily life advice, but your own methods, whether or not they're helpful, in what ways they're not helpful.
You know, we talk about this all the time when we talk about neurodiversity, having a blueprint to navigate the brain that you're given, the processing that you're given. Your soul isn't the same as your processors, right? And to be able to navigate that and learn, oh my gosh, when I'm going to a new event, or when I'm meeting new people, or when I have to deal with rush hour, I feel anxious or a certain way, my body releases this stress hormone. Well, learn how to breathe through it, learn how to say positive affirmations, learn how to use the tools that exist to minimize the bad, and that way you'll have a more even keel. And that's partly what can be good about getting because there's so many people out there that just accept themselves for who they are, and it's like, well, don't always accept yourself for who you are. Hold yourself to be the best version of yourself, and that comes from learning not to ruminate, and learning not to just be the status quo that you were given, from whatever, because no offense to our parents, but a lot of parents kind of left us with, without the manual for success, at least as far as like, well, I did it this way, it's my way or the highway. It's like, I don't want to be the type of dad that's like, well, it's my way or the highway. And I was like, well, it's my way or the way that you think will be the productive way to do it. I think that makes sense too.
Being like, I have a real problem with social media. Like,
Okay,
it kind of like, and it's like my own thing I have to deal with, but I was not a social media person. Like, truly don't know where my phone is. Most of the time it's always dead.
Okay.
So when you like get your phone back, because you don't have your phone on some of the shows, and it's like, oh, we have 2 million followers. Like, that was just like, that just happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do I do with this? And at first, like, I probably like didn't understand like magnitude.
Well, there was excitement probably as well.
It was just like, whoa. But then I was also like, I don't even know how to use this. So it was funny. But I think that's also was the charm back then. People were like, oh, like, she's not trying to be like an influencer. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. But now I struggle with posting sometimes, because I've realized I don't want to I don't know how to just say this, but like
So what she's about to talk about is the follower count she received from being on The Bachelor and then The Bachelorette. And the sort of, because every follower is different, but the followers you get from The Bachelor are entitled in certain ways. They collectively, maybe not you, maybe not me, but collectively, there's a feeling of ownership over the subject that you follow. We built you. If it weren't for you being on the show, you wouldn't have the followers. There's an entitlement that exists. I don't believe that it's right. I believe that the audience isn't entitled to you, just like you're not entitled to me. I mean, it's a symbiotic relationship. Otherwise, you wouldn't follow. Somebody follows Hannah Brown to hear about her life story, and they get entertainment and information and all these things, and then she gets to live her life and continue to provide that entertainment and information to the follower. There's a parasocial relationship there, but there is a expectation that you're going to deliver, and that's the pressure that a lot of contestants fall under. Now, there's a ton of privilege that Hannah Brown has here. She came up in the height of Instagram. Sure, she was iconic and all that, but she also received probably the biggest windfall of followers from Instagram. People people like Courtney Robertson, who were on the show years ago, didn't get any Instagram followers, and people now are getting a fraction of what Hannah Brown got just several years ago. So, but that doesn't mean her brain knows how to cope with it any better.
See the loop of social media and how it can be harmful, and I don't want to be a part of that.
What's the loop? Can you describe to us the loop?
I feel like the loop is you get on social media because you're trying to distract yourself, first of all. And you get on social media and you see the picture perfect
vacation, couple, whatever. Yeah.
Or
car,
just
bag.
even for me, it's like, oh my gosh, they're making so much content. That content's so good. Feeling worse about yourself. And then getting sucked into the hole to where then you're not doing anything to better yourself.
It's paralyzing.
Yes. And then then you
want to get distracted from that feeling and you start doing it again.
And I don't want to be a part of that.
And Hannah Brown goes on to discuss and brainstorm with the doctor here different ways to overcome the negativity in that cycle that exists on Instagram and with all social media. And that's going to be the important thing we all discover. We are all just in a giant experiment for the first time, and we can't possibly know the best ways to deal with it. Because in part, Hannah Brown's career right now is built on an Instagram following. It's built on a following that she can sell her book to and do all these things. So there is a sort of world where being on social media is beneficial, but where do you draw the boundaries, and how can you hire people to deal with the aspects that you're not good at and all that? So, whenever I watch dumb, bad interviews, it's easy to pick apart the one or two good moments to talk about. This interview, this 71 minutes here, is chocked full of great content that it's very hard to pick just one thing here. The last 107, there might have been a moment where she mentions moving. I'm not really sure exactly what is here. Let's listen to this for the first time. Someone had said
Maybe
that.
good times if it does happen. Keep you guys abreast. Sam, hit me with the medical question.
I haven't. It's long gone here. They must have missed this part. Either way, so they said in the comment section here, let me know. Interesting podcast. She's moving to Tennessee. So I didn't know that. She's been living in Los Angeles, but I wonder if she's moving with the man or whatnot. We'll have to get more information as it comes out. Let me know what you guys thought of this interview with Hannah Brown and, of course, the doctor here. But go check out the full thing. Here on Bachelor Rush Hour and Bachelor Nation News, we just like to show a couple clips of, fun moments. But, yeah, this, any interview that's with someone who's skilled to talk about therapy, to me, I always find interesting, and you should go check out the full thing. All right, more content coming to you guys. We'll see you in a little bit.